Tennessee football. You excited about the upcoming season in 2022? Well, maybe you should be for several reasons. Primarily, your quarterback. It's possible that Hendon Hooker might have been one of the more underappreciated players in the SEC last year, and if the numbers make even a slight jump this year, which Josh Heupel quarterbacks generally do, they almost always improve year to year, then you might want to keep an eye on things in East Tennessee. Now, for some context, allow me to pat myself on the back just a little bit. Back in January of 2021, 18 months ago, after Danny White was hired as AD at Tennessee, I made this video pointing out what he had to find in a football coach. It was obvious what was needed for that program at that time. In my opinion, the new coach will have to do what Fulmer did in the 90s, build the program around a transcendent quarterback and an exciting offense. Then, a few days later, he hired Josh Heupel away from his old school, UCF, and I followed up with another video pointing out why it seemed like a good hire. I mentioned here on this channel in a previous video that I thought Tennessee needed to go in search of offense and a quarterback-centric coach, and I think they definitely got that with Heupel.
We're going to play with tempo here. We're going to be the aggressor.
How Heupel's track record for offense and quarterback play fit what Tennessee needed in this modern era of college football, and he even titled the video, "Vols Will Get Better." Well, they did get better immediately on offense. Look at the numbers and the jumps that the team made from 2020 to 2021 in year one under Heupel. Scoring offense, they went from 21 points per game to 39 per game last season. Good enough to go from 108th best in scoring offense in the country to the 7th best in America last year. That 39 points per game, that's the best at Tennessee since 1993. Shout out Heath Schuler, number 21 in your program, number 1 in your heart. In total offense, they averaged 474 yards per game, 9th best in the country. Not quite, but almost 100 spots better than a year earlier. And oh, by the way, that's the best total offensive average per game since 1997, when a guy wearing number 16 was running the show. Now, also, if you want to continue to look at Heupel's year one offense in historical context, last year they set school records in passing efficiency, first downs in a season, total touchdowns scored, and therefore points scored. Just simmer on that for a minute. In his first season at Tennessee, Heupel's offense scored more points than any other Tennessee team ever. And the guy under center for that improvement was Hendon Hooker, a 6'4", 220-pound transfer from Virginia Tech. Technically was a senior last year, but is back this year as a super senior, 24 years old. And people in Knoxville say he's a real leader who has command of the locker room. Now, watching Hooker last year, he did an excellent job guiding the offense, keeping it on time. He hit throws when they were open for the most part. Didn't do a ton of just missing guys when the offense got him open. As an older guy, he was able to check at the line of scrimmage some, get them out of bad plays into better ones. He also added a running element, at least the consistent threat of the quarterback running the ball, which this offense really needs in order to manipulate a defense the way his coach wants to. So before I break down some plays, I just want to point out one more statistical thing that I found regarding Hooker that I didn't realize until I looked it up the other day. I was looking at Mississippi State quarterback Will Rogers. I wanted to see how he compared to other SEC quarterbacks last year and the frequency with which he threw touchdowns compared to interceptions. In other words, a guy with over 680 passing attempts, how often was he throwing touchdowns versus how often he threw interceptions? Rogers threw 36 touchdowns last year with only 9 picks, which is a pretty low number of interceptions for a guy putting it in the air over 680 times. Well, as I did the math for Rogers and the other quarterbacks in the SEC's top 10 in passing average per game, something sort of shocking jumped out. Hendon Hooker not only has the fewest number of attempts per touchdown pass, or the highest frequency of touchdown passes per pass attempt, but he also had the most pass attempts per interception, or the lowest frequency of interception per attempts of any quarterback in the SEC by far. Now, side note, I didn't calculate Stetson Bennett of Georgia only Because when you looked up last year's stats at secsports.com, he wasn't in the top 10 in passing average per game. So, in fact, Bennett had a high frequency of touchdowns per attempt at 9.8, right up there with Hooker, but also had a high frequency of interceptions with 1 in every 41 attempts, which would put him near the bottom of the league starters in that regard. Another side note, Bo Nix at Auburn also only threw 3 interceptions last year, same number as Hooker. In fact, of the 72 FBS quarterbacks with 300-plus pass attempts last year, those 2 were tied with the fewest interceptions. However, Hooker threw 20 more touchdown passes than Nix did. So that wasn't really a close comparison either, not in terms of efficiency. Now, what does all that say? Well, number one, Josh Heupel did exactly what he was hired to do. He raised the bar for Tennessee's offense in year 1 in a big way. And number 2, Hendon Hooker was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league last year, if not the most efficient. If he makes another jump along with the offense around him in year 2 under Heupel, which everyone expects, then there are a bunch of winnable games on that schedule, maybe as many as 10 of them. All right, first drive of the ball game took them right down the field against Georgia, made a statement at home in the game. Go down here, zone read this, pull it, throw it. And, he had 2 touchdowns, depending on the amount of time to throw the football. And there's a little pressure here at the line of scrimmage from Georgia on 3rd and 3, so he didn't have time to really read it. But a little RPO action right there on the zone read and reading the end man on the line of scrimmage. So this turns into the end man on the line of scrimmage. And so what you get is you get a block down right here and release into the flat. You're going to push up next level, draw the attention of that corner. That's who you would actually read if it gets to that level, is you'd high-low that defender. But he's run off, so the ball comes down in there. You just got to make a play on the mesh and getting the throw off. Make sure you don't get hit back here in the backfield and tackled. So everything's blocked up. Here he comes, unblocked defender on end man line of scrimmage on purpose, intentionally not blocking him, and it's up to the quarterback to read. Okay, do I give to the running back inside or keep right here? If he were to hang or get vertical in some way or get caught up, you're going to give. If he is down inside or at us, I'm going to ride this to the last minute and pull it and then come out. And that's what happens. But the defender plays it really well. You see right there? Maybe, I don't know if you were being picky. I don't coach this stuff, but they may tell him, okay, seat that ball, ride him a little longer, a step longer. Like you're pulling right here, but if you're hanging in there a step longer on this mesh, being just a little more patient on it, then you're going to really get him down here. And now you're free. You're free when you pull it running. Easy. You can run for a first or you can throw 2 touchdowns, just whatever you want to do if you ride it a little longer. I guess, and again, it's easy when I'm sitting up here with a clicker to say those things. This is happening real fast, and he knows what he's getting on the next level. But just because of those steps already, he's decided to pull, and it's going to work. But when he pulls it, defender for Georgia recovers really quickly. He's on him really quickly, and now I got to make a quick decision, and this is what you like by it. There's no panic. If he were to panic and try to run him, he's going to get caught and, have to throw off balance. Still may make it, may not. No panic, no ducking, not taking, killing the play right here. This is knowing what I have, and that is I'm going to go ahead and take this early touchdown. We've beat him here on the delay release and get it to him. Make sure it's accurate, and it is. Make it catchable. So, those running backs, you don't want to make them jump. You don't want to make them turn around. Put it out in front where he can catch this thing. Don't throw it too hard. It's a pretty good catch right there. But like I say, depending on the pressure, if there is no pressure, the fake really works. I got plenty of time. That's an easy touchdown. This is one. Or, again, if he's sucked in completely on the fake, you may even run this thing for a score. So good play design and score right off the bat. Hooker took him down the field to start the ball game. It was a good job. This was a really good job in the pocket against Georgia. And I don't mean moving around. I mean standing strong in there, eyes downfield. Don't worry about the rush because his back whiffs on protection. He's got a guy right in his face and drills a first down throw on 3rd and 5. So first formation, it's 3-by-1. 3 receiver side is to the farthest side of the field to their right because the ball is nearer to the left hash. And you got a free in here. I'm not real sure why he would line up outside the hash right there unless he was just going to dive back in here to the middle or run back to this side on the snap. Don't really know unless it's, bringing everybody and expecting the back to maybe come out, and that would be his responsibility. But that's what you're getting nonetheless. So what it does is it puts you with, 5 blockers and a 6th if the back gets involved. In the box, they're giving you a 4-man front, 2 linebackers. So if all of those guys were to come, you still have enough if the back is involved in protection for it to be 6-on-6. Okay, so as a quarterback pre-snap already, you're okay unless they, banjo that thing off the hash or somehow bring that safety from the middle of the field. But they're not doing that. So snap it. There's no play fake involved. And the key right here is they are bringing all 6. And number 2, my running back has got a solo in this A gap, number 7, the linebacker. And he never really even gets a piece of him. If you watch right there, he just dives at his feet and just smooth misses him. So this ain't how it's done right here in pass pro from a running back perspective. I mean, you got to see first, square him up, get in his way, take the contact. And I know you're diving at that inside leg, but if you're going to do that, hit him. This is just a complete swing and miss right here. And it's not like 7, the linebacker's doing all he can to avoid the block. He's just running in there, eyes on the quarterback, and running back diving at nobody right here. So that's really poor in pass protection from the running back. So what it does is it puts that linebacker who should be protected right in the face, doesn't even hit the ground. He's right in his face downhill. And look at Hooker. He's not panicky. 1 little slide there. 1, 2, shuffle. Feet are I'm stable. My feet are shoulder width. I'm not flipping out of here. He's still putting that front leg forward and sort of driving into a defender to drive through it on the throw, and is not worried about the contact at all. And that's really like it. Putting it on him on that hash hitch for a first down on 3rd and 5. Had he had time to read it, you do have this for a first down, whether it's choice or whatever you're calling it. But you're also getting an inside release vertical right here with a safety. The only chance for him to get there, he's coming all the way off the hash. Outside pulls up because even though he had man, I think he chose the out route into the boundary there because of the situation, 3rd and 5. Whether they've called these routes or whatever, I know that you're getting an inside release vertical right here on the hash. And if your protection holds up, it's one of those things where if this is smooth and he feels like he's got a chance, he may take a peek at that and try to throw a touchdown up the field. Right here, though, he does have the underneath option. Takes it because he's going to stand in there and throw it right there with the defender in his face. That's a really good job. I'm always impressed anytime I see these guys in the pocket, shirts flying around. He's going to get hit, but his eyes are not on the rush. He's trusting that protection even though it fails him right here. And because of that, he just steps right into the defender. Look at that. And delivers the football. Can't really follow through. Zip, 3rd down completion. I really like it. You see what I'm talking about, too, on the vertical? This safety, he's the only deep help. Look how far away he is. If your protection is solid and I'm standing there looking down the field, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him bypass this option, even though it's 3rd and 5, and let this clear and try to throw that up the field for a touchdown. It's a good job here at man-to-man by Georgia because he makes him flatten this thing out. Like he doesn't give him enough space where he can just speed release up the field. Your receiver's having to sort of flatten that thing, and that would have slowed it up had he decided to go there. But if he'd had protection and time to read it a little more, he may actually try to throw that thing up the field. Touchdown opportunity. He's 4 verticals. Going to try to go to that tight end who's running up inside the numbers vertical, gets bracketed on top and underneath. Can't get it in there to him because there's not a lot of room to get it in there to him, so it's a bit of a misread right here on it. And there is a lot going on. but they've got some opportunities for sure. So they line up in empty 2 and 3, but motioning, speed motion, fast motion is going to put 4 on one side right here. And Georgia really adjusts well. You'll see it when he comes all the way across. And when the tight end does release, you're getting the number 2 receiver actually replacing him inside coming across. His vertical is getting back over the top. And so you're sort of, trying to see if you can't pick or switch it up on these verticals right here and get somebody open. So whether he kind of made up his mind early or not, no way to know. But you see on the speed motion what's happening is they're going man. There's only one guy in here who's not in a man, straight up man deal. You got one chasing across. He's man. What's happening here is they're going to turn this number 2 loose and let him, as he goes inside, they're kind of switching it off, and the safety that's inside picks him up, the safety that's over the ball. And so the one guy that gets bracketed is the tight end that's running that switch, where he's going to have one on top, and this linebacker is going to peel off and go underneath. So if you look at it just in terms of numbers, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defenders against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 receivers in the route. So they got you outnumbered, and when that happens, you only get one guy that's got some sort of 2 defenders in his area, and that's the one we're trying to throw it to. That's what I'm saying is, maybe he just kind of made his mind up early. Because in terms of a key, if you're reading this and you got 4 verticals, what's going to be your key? Who you putting in conflict? Well, yes, it could be this, who is a safety that's sort of over the top. And what they've done is you put 4 receivers over here, so they put 2 safeties on top over here, right? So, if that's who he's looking at and reading here, thinking, okay, my conflict is either here or here, okay, and I'm going to play off him. It's kind of understandable. The problem is the throw just isn't there because he gets, followed underneath and he's sort of bracketed on top, and you don't have room here also. So the sort of natural progression would be is he's over the top, he's underneath, I'm coming back. I got all this field here to work with. Protection is pretty good, so if he waits and flips back and reads now, then, again, it's easy to say up here when you're watching it in film and slowing it down and pausing it, but there's your opportunity for a touchdown there, coming back across. Everybody else got covered. You didn't win here with no room on the sideline. You're on top and underneath. And, on first down, you can, bring it back down here. He's trying to throw a touchdown, though. But he's just not open. So it's a little bit of one of those kind of being picky. I mean, you had an opportunity. He still put it in a place where, a guy gets a hand on it, but he's not really open. I think it's just it's being picky. It's not terrible. It's just, he chose a guy that had a little less room to get it in there. Coverage got him confused. All that pre-snap motion brought another defender over there. And it's tough because you could throw a touchdown to the vertical that's in the middle of the field, and he would be open in that case. You're not hurt. I mean, it's first down. You make sure you don't put the ball in danger in this situation. See him right there. It's sometimes tough to figure out like where the reads are. Looks like he actually gives that middle safety on the hash there a peek to begin with, but then decides I'm going outside. He's fixing to get hit too. Stepping in there. He's got 41 hitting him right in the left thigh as he lets the ball go, and 88 coming in there too. So it's not the cleanest pocket in the world. He's got to get rid of it. Touchdown versus Missouri. Third receiver, the outside receiver, trips into the boundary. He's going to inside release and get vertical, and he's going to find him for a touchdown. Watch the play first. So trips into the boundary away from a tight end. Inside release in front of the safety. Good throw. So a couple things about this. Watch Hooker first. Let's watch him back there in the pocket first. A little play fake built in. Good posture. Heels aren't clicking together, so he's got a little hopping going on, right here, both feet off the ground, but it's not bad because I think he sees safety. He's looking at receiver. He's not actually looking at safety, but still good wide base, so he's able to turn and drive and get rid of it quickly. So a good posture in a pocket right there. In terms of the route and the coverage, it looks like, okay, so outside receiver is going to go first and get inside release. It is man-to-man, so he's matched up with this corner. So he gets inside release, drives him up inside, catches the ball. Behind him, number 2 comes behind. Looks like he's choicing it, and he's got a defender on top in man-to-man, so he pulls it up here. Inside receiver is going across the field, draws attention, and has a runner with him. And as far as coverage, I don't really know what Missouri was getting in some of this. Okay, you've got 3 on the line of scrimmage, 3 in there. It's a nickel package. And you have 5 DBs into the look. The one I can't figure out is right here, the safety coming over. So this is a safety, and you see that when they snap the ball, there's a safety that gets back here, in the middle of the field. But I'm not sure what number 1's doing right here because, he's neither back nor up. He just kind of hangs in here, tries to come late, and he's really kind of a wasted defender in this look. So not really sure what they're getting. You see what I'm talking about here? So, he's not back. Everybody else is locked up in man-to-man everywhere else with that one safety who dropped right in the middle of the field between the hashes right here. So it's like man with a free, but, whatever his role is, I'm not sure. He's not covering anybody. He's not bracketing anybody, not really trying to. And then, he just kind of hangs out and then decides to come down late, and he's really just not doing anything. So not getting anything out of him. And so what happens is, as this guy stays like a safety in the middle of the field there, when he comes inside release from the outside and pushes it up near the hash, he's left to try to get over there. There's no safety on that side, and that's why the throw gets in there, because there's space between receiver and safety. See, inside release, outside. He's on the numbers now, but now he's pushing it towards the hash. So it's an excellent throw, but that's that safety I'm talking about. He can't get there from his position. His man-to-man defender on the outside is beat, so it's a good route by the receiver. But really the thing here is the position on the throw. I mean, you're putting it out here where only your guy can get it in a dead run. This is a very accurate throw. But from a coverage standpoint for Missouri, not real sure what they had going on with that extra player here, this nickel. Everybody else is in man-to-man. I noticed also nobody covered the back. So what you have is tight end on the line of scrimmage here, releases, and you get a man-to-man cover here. So after the fake, the running back steps up, releases, and nobody has him man-to-man. So let's just say, for instance, quarterback looks up, I'm going to throw this, but he slips or he falls or he gets covered and he pulls the ball back down. He may actually come to his check down the running back who nobody covered out of the backfield. So not the best defense right here from Missouri. See, again, maybe this linebacker is supposed to pick him up. He's one of the 6 who was at or near the line of scrimmage. He's looking at the quarterback, but you've got obviously man-to-man calls, and nobody's covering this back. So this is we're either going to throw a touchdown, but even if he came off of that and decided to check it down, this is going big yards because they left the back uncovered out of the backfield. But he never got to it and threw a touchdown up the field instead. It's a really good throw against that look. See the safety dropping in the middle. It's obviously man-free. And there he goes. Inside release. And everybody looks covered, but the thing is, you got inside position running away. You got outside position running away. It's hard to be wrong here if you're the quarterback in terms of getting people open. You put this ball out here, there's a great chance you could one-on-one and catch it. If I'm looking at this, he's running across the field being trailed, I can drive it in here. And because I've got, position there. If he were to check down, he's uncovered. Right here is obviously open. So I'm not sure Missouri really covered anybody on this route. All right, he's going to go with a one-on-one choice route into the boundary, ball on the right side or on the right hash, and so he's going to go to that short side of the field where they're faking the other way, flip, good footwork, drive it in there, complete. 2nd and 18, so you've got 6 in there in the box, and I'll show you the formation. There's some off screen you can't see. So there's obviously a receiver and a DB lined up here off screen you can't see. It's probably man-to-man because that's man-to-man, that's man-to-man also. And safety's here, and you got another coming down spy in the backfield. And, this formation, 2 backs, no tight end, and they're going to fake to that left side, requires him to have to flip and look the other way. I think pre-snap probably tells him he's got that boundary choice route. See him put his eyes right there on linebacker. It's either here or here. Maybe he's outside. Maybe he's first outside. But I think it's play fake all the way. Nobody's run blocking. It's not RPO. Really, to me, the dead giveaway that it is, straight play action pass call the whole way is the up back or, the H or whoever's in a sort of a fullback kind of role right here. Because if you watch him, he's going to step in there, and then there's no effort to try to go downfield. Like he does not know if this is a true RPO. He doesn't know if it's run or pass, but he's got to stay right in there where he is. He's pass blocking the whole way. Same thing for the tailback. So this is, I think, straight up play action call right here for Hooker. And what I like is I think pre-snap you got some access over there if you get an in break. Flips his head, knows he's got it. Now, when I say choice, I think what they're doing in this offense is in some of these one-on-ones, the receiver's got a lot of options. It can be, and I don't know what they call it or what the rules are, but, it can be here vertical. It can be, in, or it can be skinny, just depending on what they call. So you're not going to see just a whole ton of timing throws from Hooker. Like if this was a straight-up call of a slant, right? Like he knew it. That's what I'm going to run. Quarterback's able to anticipate this and go ahead and, release the football before the break happens. But because the receiver has a choice, you got to see what he's going to do first. So see, he's already in his break, coming out of it. Now I see him going inside, kind of anticipated that. And now I can let it go, but I can't let it go until I make sure I know where he's going, right? When he's got 2-3 different options of what he can run. So it's a little bit harder to anticipate it. But I like his footwork a lot. I mean, I say I like it a lot. It's just really good. You watch the play fake to his left. Eyes where they're supposed to be. Now watch him flip those feet around right now. Flip. Now back in a posture. He's not drifting. He's not happy feet. He's not Dorothy clicking his heels together. He's got a wide base and then drive off that back foot. That's prototypical. And drive it in there for a completion on 2nd and 18. Here we are. This should be a touchdown, right? So we're going to get a free release off line of scrimmage against soft zone coverage, just vertical up the field because there's nobody on top of him. And Hooker's just going to miss him right here. It's one of those you wish you had another shot at it. You'd put a little bit more air under it. Third receiver inside becomes number 2. They don't cover him up the field. Good read by the receiver on the vertical. We just miss him, overthrow it. You'd rather underthrow those deep balls than overthrow them just about every time. You look at what Georgia is doing. You get a 3 receiver side on alignment, but then motion him out. Like I say, initially he's a number 2 receiver. He becomes number 3 inside because you motion outside of him, go flat route, go, either curl or stop on top of it. It's a little bit of a kind of high-low flat curl concept. But it turns him into the number 3, and he gets free release up the field. And Georgia is in some form of, so single receiver, they're going to man him into the boundary, just match him, just jump on him. But it's zone everywhere else, and it looks like, somebody's got these deep responsibilities, those 3 deep responsibilities. And if it is some sort of 3 deep, somebody's responsible for that deep third of the field. Safety usually responsible for that deep third, and a nickel or safety on top responsible for that deep third. That would be how that would work. So nobody is got an excuse to let the guy run free up the hash without turning and running with him. So who is it? On the snap, initially this corner is dropping soft, but he's held up with 2 receivers underneath, and he's jumping all over it. He's not going to turn that loose and run into the hash because he's only got 1 defender on 2 out here. They got him outnumbered just a little bit because of pre-snap motion. he's dropping underneath, but he's not going to do any good with running by him. Meanwhile, this safety's trying to get back to the middle of the field, just opens all this up. So by design, you've got him, and it's just a matter of putting the football on him. And it's a real flat throw right here. He's not really driving it on a line drive to try to hit him running to get there before the safety can turn. In the NFL, you will see quarterbacks drive this in there on a line drive because that guy's so good, even though you can lead him up the field. But in college football, even the best of them, put some air under it, and if anything, underthrow it so that you hit it and don't miss it over the top. It's kind of a flat throw, and honestly, I think it's one of those where it's kind of early in the game, and as a quarterback, you're excited, and you got a little juice, and the ball jumps on you sometimes. Excellent protection. His feet are good. It's not bad posture, not bad footwork at all. I think he's just got some juice and sees an open guy and just kind of pumps it. And that happens sometimes. All right, you got a touchdown right here up top. They got them stacked into the boundary. Ball's on the left hash. And here we go. Safety doesn't get back there. Make that in break. Hit him on a dead run where he can catch it and make the move to avoid that tackle. We can take it to the house. And you go back and you look at this. It's not great from Alabama's standpoint either. Got them stacked up here. Ball on the left hash, so it's a stacked receivers into the boundary. You're going to get inside release on the top. And behind, we're going to drive it up the sideline and get that in break. And if you look on the alignment, so there's 2 on 2. There's 2 on 2 here. And you got a safety, and he is between the hashes, but he's very shallow. First of all, he's very shallow. Maybe, is he maybe 10 yards off the ball? Okay, so he's only 10 yards off the ball. He's in the middle of the field with the ball on the left hash. It's going to be, just based on where he lines up, it's going to be hard for him to really affect as a safety on top anything over there in that bubble on that side of the field. It's almost like, Tennessee does a lot of hurry up, and they're lined up ready to go, and you can see Alabama is scrambling here and still looking around trying to get lined up. So this is one where the tempo that they play with on offense is helping to confuse the opponent. They're about to snap it. As soon as he gets set, we're going to snap it. He's talking, he's looking around. We're still moving up here. They're fortunate that they're set here, but they're only rushing 3, and they can't really affect them because they're only rushing 3. So the tempo is getting Alabama out of position right here. And then you see on the snap, if you watch this safety in the middle, he takes us one step back, but because of a little, show of run, which that's built into almost everything they do in this offense, is we're showing them run, a little play action deal. Watch the safety who's on the logo. He steps down. Okay, so if he's going to be a guy, again, who's going to have to come back here and at least make this tackle if he can't break it up. We got him right now. We've got him on alignment. He's off the hash. He's in the middle. He's stepping down late because of the play action. Now, how does the route get open? So it is one-on-one, but if you look at this corner, he's taking this inside shoulder and turning, his butt to the field. He's looking into the sideline like he's going to try to force this thing to the sideline. And it's really, really hard to keep that guy from getting behind you when you take that kind of position at corner without anybody in position to really help you to the inside. So it's like they're kind of giving it to him right here. You see him up there up top. This is a terrible angle to watch this. I wish we had the all-22, but you see what I'm saying? Like, you're releasing on the sideline wide, and as a corner, you're turning your back to the field. Okay, so you're looking at this only 1.5 yards of space to the sideline, and if he gets behind you, what are you going to do? Like Willie Mays' baseball turn in the outfield to try to run him down, but it's really hard to cover that. And so that's what you get. You get that in move. He's past him. The safety can't get there. Safety's now trying to retreat, but because it's an accurate throw, receiver's got a chance to catch, make this move right there, and turn this into a house call. In the pocket, wide base there, not clicking his heels. His feet don't come together. Good, nice wide base. And then drive off that back leg and zip, put it on him. That's really good. And here we go. Foot race, receiver wins it. Was his interception in the Georgia game. You're going to get a couple of curls out here, kind of dual going to the stick and curling up out there. It's just 2-on-2, far side of the field for him. Reason he called up, it's really the worst interception he threw of the 3 on the year, just because, there's something there and you can't tell who he's throwing the football to. Another was obviously he and the receiver not on the same page. That was in the Alabama game. Then, of course, the one in the Pitt game where, he's seeing stuff. He just didn't see the safety coming from the backside. But this is one where, he's waiting to see what are these routes. We're not throwing it early. If these are straight up called curl routes, then the ball should already be gone. If it's not and they both have a choice of what they're going to do, he has no choice but to see what they're going to do before he can throw it. It's one of the drawbacks of doing that. So it's not a read and anticipation at that point. But regardless, you got a couple here who he does see. And so the reason it's really at fault is ball just sails on him. Something about the way it came out, whether he's trying to come underneath, where he's indecision. Regardless, you can't really tell who he's throwing it to right there. So it's a mistake, and he did not make a lot of those, obviously, on the year. You see it again, and he just overthrows him. All right, here he is. Touchdown in the slot. You're going to get a little skinny in route, just kind of deep slant, skinny, and stick it on him. And you notice a couple things. I'll show it to you first. It's 2x2 with a tight end. Play action, zip, touchdown. Ties the ball game early. And, you line up. The first thing you see is, 2 receivers into the boundary with that's, the second receiver's a tight end. And then we're split 2 out here left. So 2x2, single back in the backfield. But they've put 4 on the line of scrimmage, including 1 standing up. And they have, another 3 there. So they've got a 7-man in the box. I got a 7-man I could protect if I hand it off, but because of alignment, they're putting one here off the edge who's not lining up over anyone as if it's a man-to-man responsibility, and there is nobody in the middle of this football field. So when you get down here on a goal line, or close to it anyway, and you see that there's no defender here in the middle part of the field at all. These signals start going off, and then you look, and it's like, there's 7 in there, but it's a loose 7. It's really 6 in the box, 4 on the front. They're not toes on the line of scrimmage giving me like 0 coverage anywhere, even though it kind of is 0 coverage, right? So I don't know really what the scheme is defensively, just to be honest with you here, if they're confused or what, because you got cushion up top, so much cushion, and outside. So that's the other thing, if he's going to have to cover him at all, look how far outside he is. He's lined up just off the hash. He's well off the hash, so we're giving him a free inside release where there are no defenders. So play action affects the linebackers just enough. See this right here? Why are you, pulling this down and showing it to the running back? Watch this middle linebacker right here, who's the one who drops into the throwing lane. If you just watch the linebacker, keep your eyes on him. Watch what he does. Step down. Just 1 step down. Now he's got to retreat. And then and if you time it up, this is kind of getting precise right here. But if you look at his 1 little step down, how many steps up the field does that make a difference for the receiver who actually catches the ball behind him? So look at those 2 things together. Step down, and before he retreats, the receiver is now 4 yards off the ball. He's really 5 yards from where he started. Okay, so receiver starting on the 10. By the time the linebacker hits the brakes and realizes it's passed after he stepped down on the play action, receiver's 5 yards up the field, as opposed to flying out of there. Does that help him get him open? Yeah. Again, play action, pull here. He's now going to try to drop in the throwing lane. He can't, and this is a perfect throw over his head. If you try to drive this in there too low, he's going to bat it away, maybe get a hand on it, put it up right under the goalpost, and easy score. Now watch this run right here now. This is fun. Can't really see the route. Get out of there and then go do something. Spin through one, run through another, 2, 3, 4. Just keep on going, man. Big guy. 6'4", 220. How many red shirts you got at the end? 2, 4, 6. You got 6 guys hitting him, getting him to the ground there at the end, 6 defenders. Yeah. And driving for that first down. That's impressive. I mean, I love that play. And, they're fast motion here to get to 3. I can't really see all the routes. You do see somebody drop on top of one, which maybe takes it away in the hash. But he didn't really have time and doesn't take time to even try to read it. He's just getting out of there because his right guard gets completely eaten alive right here, right into his lap. So there it is right there. You want to keep an eye on it. Let's him get into him. Kind of he's almost losing his own balance right there. Just kind of gets caught with him going inside. He's thinking outside. Guard's thinking outside. He goes slightly inside, lets him get all the way in on his shoulder, right in his left ear. His knee's up. He can't hold him off with one leg, and now he's super off balance. I mean, he might as well be just on skates right here. I mean, he's just completely knocked back. Quarterback knows it. I feel it. This pocket's gone, and I'm not staying in there. Now get out of there and go make something happen. Nice move right there on that first one now. Knowing you're going to get hit coming the other way, keep your feet, drive. They got you, keep driving. Go, 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 go. Stay up. Don't tackle yourself. I love it. The tough one here. This is his first interception of the year, and it's his safety that is kind of the backside safety that's going to peel back into the coverage here and undercut this thing. He takes his eyes off of him. He's trying to hit the skinny post. He thinks the middle of the field's open, but that safety peels back. He never saw him coming after he took his eyes off of him. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. You can't see the whole field, so this is not an all 22 look. Wish I had that. Don't. You've got 2 receivers out here extremely wide, okay? So this is actually the inside receiver on the left side. You see him lined up out here on this logo outside the hash with inside leverage on that safety covering him on his inside shoulder. And on pre-snap, there's all this room in the middle field wide open, and the other safety lined up in here off the hash as well with nobody over him. What I mean by that is, he's not lined up over a receiver. Now, you do have 2 backs to that side, but you've also got 6 in the box, including 2 linebackers right there. So it's a zone or man-free look everywhere except this guy right here. And so they do a really nice job of whatever the call is for Pittsburgh, I don't know. And you can't see, but out here on the outside, down here off the screen this way, it's sort of a smash deal down here. He stops, and so he's the deeper route. And had you gotten true smash with a stop underneath and a corner on top of it, you maybe have a big play. And there's still a big play here. It's just he never sees the safety. So I'll show you what I mean. Right there, play fake. And his eyes are kind of in the middle of the field initially. If you go back to, like right now at the moment, he's meshing with the running back. It looks like he's got his eyes over here and could be looking to see if he's going to have access to a one-on-one here, but his guy gets pushed into the boundary. But as soon as he comes off the play fake, here's the problem is his eyes come away from the secondary now, and now he's looking for his receiver. So, again, if this is one of those option deals where he's got the option here in this call to either come flat depending on coverage, to post it depending on coverage, to go or to corner it, it means quarterback can't anticipate and know where he's going to be. I need to see it first. It's not a timing and anticipation show. I got to see him make his move first before I can let the ball go. So he's looking at a receiver. Well, by virtue of that, he's taking his eyes off of that backside safety, who's now just reading his eyes. A great job of the safety reading his eyes. I'm getting out here. The backs have held up in pass pro, so I'm free. I'm going to peel back and take away this middle of the field right here, reading the eyes of the quarterback, and that's what he does. So quarterback, Hooker never sees him coming and throws it right to him. And, it's one of those where, again, with all that room available, middle of the field and across, if he does know he's there, if he does read that, if he keeps his eyes on him, sees him going back to the middle field, Guarantee you he holds up with this 7-man protection, waits for him to clear the middle of the field, and throws him a touchdown over here. And that's what's really unfortunate. You got a big play if you just wait another half second and let him clear that safety. But instead, it's what turned out to be their last possession of the ball game in a one-score game. Throw it right to him. Never saw him coming. You can see a little bit from the high and behind view. See him right now? Like, eyes are there on the mesh. It's just kind of part of the mechanics right there. You fake into that side, eyes go there. And he's thinking, I'm going to flip my head and then throw back to this wide side of the field. But when he does that, Nine's just reading his eyes. So he's looking at his receiver. And so Nine's down here just reading his eyes. I'm going to follow him back to that route that's coming into the middle of the field. Never saw him, threw it right to him. So that was his first interception of the year, just one of 3 all year long. Not a bad one. It's just he took his eyes right off the safety and he made a play. All right, they got a touchdown up here to the number 2, little skinny post, little bang 8 into the middle of the field. No safety in the middle of the field at all. Even pre-snap, they go 7-man protect, stand in there and drill it, and that's a really nice throw against man-to-man coverage. Not real sure here, and this is one of those where I'm just guessing, but on offense, Tennessee's really hurrying up. They go fast. Maybe they've done that here. It is 1st and 10. I don't know if this is a drive starter or not. I just know that for me, South Carolina is wasting a bunch of guys here according to the formation. This is what I'm looking at. So, Tennessee has put a tight end on the line of scrimmage who's covered up, so he's not eligible. He's on the line of scrimmage. There's your tight end right there. Back in the backfield. So 11 personnel, and then trips to the wide side of the field. So their entire offensive formation is from the back over, all to the left side of the field. There's nothing on the screen to Tennessee's right. They've lined up, heavy, unbalanced, whatever you want to call it. Tight end, everybody over here, including the back. And South Carolina balances this thing up, I guess, in their formation. They've got one guy with their hand down into the boundary and 3 guys standing up. And there's nobody on this side of the offensive formation. There are no backs. There are no tight ends. There are no receivers, nothing. But they've lined up against it into the boundary with one standing up, walked up, either a corner or a nickel, and a linebacker. So, why you've got next-level defenders here in a formation where there's nobody over here, I know you're trying to balance it out, but that just seems too many to me. And I know that you've gone man-to-man call here too. Like this is straight-up man-to-man in your call. But if that's the case, again, where are we in the middle of the field? We're just going to give that up. So, again, it just, they kind of got them on formation, if you want to throw it. Because if you look at this side of the field for South Carolina, they've got, one standing on the line of scrimmage, 2, 3 next level, 4, all in an area of the field when all of Tennessee's eligible skill players are on this edge into the field. I mean, that side of the field. So you just got them on pre-snap. And then it's a matter of executing in man-to-man. And this is tough too. Because he doesn't have any help in the middle of the field, he turns his butt. He wants to force this thing to the sideline, but a lot of times that works against you because once he does get any inside leverage, now you got to either turn around or try to flip your hips and run. And so it's really on the receiver to win. If protection holds up, quarterback's got to stick it on him. It's a really good release. Look at his feet. I mean, he's got good footwork. You almost never see poor footwork from Hooker. And obviously that's going to lead to the accuracy, and he only throws 3 interception balls the whole year. But that's really good driving it on him. And that's, not a bad recovery at all up there up top. You get the baseball turn from the DB who turns to the outside and still gets back on him. Doesn't turn him completely loose. He's in a position to maybe make a play. It's not a terrible job by the DB at all. It's just the throw is that good. Really nice. Zone read right here. Mesh, read the end man line of scrimmage, keep, and then run it in the end zone. And this is what this scheme can get you when you got a tough quarterback who doesn't mind running the ball and is capable of running the ball. I'll show you what I mean. So it's obviously touchdown run. If you look at the formation for Tennessee in front of Hooker, 5 offensive linemen, 2 up. So there's 7 blockers. that are going to block 7 here, the 4 down and 1, 2, and 3. So there's your 7 on 7 right there in terms of blocking the scheme and the way they're defending it. So what has Missouri done, right? Because he's not blocking. So what has Missouri done? Because of the formation, you got 2 extra, 1 and 2. So you're going to block the 7 that are in the yellow square. The other 2 that are at or near the line of scrimmage are going to be taken care of by the quarterback because of the read. You're not blocking them on purpose. So this is the defender who you're going to read, okay? And if you read it right, he can't be right. So he's the in-man on the line of scrimmage. Walk down. If he were to stay out here, I'm giving the ball to the running back. If he jumps down inside to chase the running back, I'm going to keep and go outside. So watch the quarterback take care of both. So you're reading the in-man line of scrimmage first. Right there, pull. Let me back it up. I meant to pause it here for you. So here's your snap. Here's your mesh point with the running back, and here's his read. He sees him angling down inside, coming, to blow up the mesh or blow up the running back. So he's going to, hang with that mesh just a second here and now pull. See, hangs with it late, last minute, knows this guy's going to get hit, but it's the right read. He's down inside. Now I pull. Make sure I pull where he can't come off and still make this play. So he waits. Now pull. Now you're to the outside. So there's the 8th defender. You've taken care of him with the read. Now what's next? The 9th defender who's coming over the top, try to make a one-on-one tackle on the goal line. Now you're a ball carrier. So you've handled one unblocked with your read. Now you got to handle the other one with your athleticism. A little dip outside, create just a little bit of space. I mean, it's just smart. He's outside here to widen him just a little bit, and now north and south and run through the contacts. Very like a Dak Prescott here. That's a nice job. That's what that offense can give you. And he's 6'4", 220 pounds. He's going to be hard to tackle on the goal line or anywhere else. Really nice job there with the mesh. Pull it late and go score. And it's blocked well up front also. That's the other thing about it. When you look at the right side of that Tennessee offensive line from the center on over, so you're talking about, this bunch right here of 4 white helmets. You watch the job that they do on that side also. Down, down, down. I mean, that's 4 guys blocking 3 right there at the point of attack, and it's just not even close. There's no leaks on the backside. Blocked really well. Got to have that on the goal line. Pump that screen. You're not open down the field. Do something. Make 1, 2 miss. Run through that. Make 3 miss. Take on 4. Make extra yards. Be a runner. That is really good. And not just everybody can do that. Guys in this offense can, and especially when you got one who's 6'4", 220 pounds, that helps. You can see what they were trying to do right here. It's straight up zone coverage down the field. You got 3 on the line of scrimmage for Kentucky, everybody else dropping. And so they motioned over here to a tight 3 into the boundary and are going to fake this, now screen. And you'll see outside receiver comes up here, stutters a little bit at 5 yards to try to make it look like I'm blocking you, to maybe draw him up and we can beat him over the top. But Kentucky does not go for it. So that's why he holds the football. Watch him fake it. He's going to pump the under, the now. All it does is bring up the one underneath defender who that's his responsibility in zone anyway. And if you look, back it up and look up top right here, he doesn't bite, stays his responsibility, doesn't bite on the possible screen, even though, because his eyes are on the quarterback, even though receiver is going to, sort of shuttle it down a little bit right there at the 30, you see. But nobody bites for it. And on the inside, you get locked up as well. Same thing right here. You're getting locked up. He runs with him. So it takes those 2 throws away. Can't come back down underneath. You could throw it out of bounds, or you could try to make something. And I like this. See a gap get through there. And now make him miss. This is not prototypical. I'm sure in Kentucky's meeting, they were like, what are you doing? We got to have better than that. But, he's a big, tall guy who doesn't look fast. I think he's faster than he looks. Here's a little design quarterback run fake on after a speed sweep motion going this way. Keep and follow the guard and the tackle pulling out in front of you here. So it's almost like a little GT quarterback power design into the boundary here on 1st and 10. Follow the guard and tackle after the fake. Get a block and do something with the unblock. Not bad at all. How about that design, though, huh? So you look pre-snap. You got 2 receivers lined up. Look how wide they are. Just get those guys completely as far away from the formation as you can. Line up with an eligible tight end to the wide side of the field. So this is a 3-receiver side single. And then we're going to speed motion across and fake the give to him on a speed sweep and try to get defense, going that way, which it does. It works. So here goes the motion, pulls a corner in. That's a big part of it too because it's coming this way. So what does it do? It pulls that defender on that side back and in, makes him easier to block, gets him in a position where he's not going to blow this thing up off the edge. And then pulling the left guard and left tackle around. That's the GT, guard and tackle around in front. Down, pull around. One picks up the edge, the other coming around for the first linebacker that shows. Boom. That's blocked really, really well right there. Look at that. 1, 2, and 3. And if I'm the quarterback, all I got to do is do something with that guy and go make a first down. Now, how does South Carolina do it? Get off a block so you don't get blocked on the inside. Stay up. And right here, as soon as he jumps inside, if you were really being critical or trying to critique every little thing, you might tell him, hey, right here, bounce this thing and just run. No cuts, no nothing. Bounce it and run straight to the sideline. Get every inch you can get before you go out of bounds, and it might be enough for a first. Instead, he does kind of bounce it, but then decides to make a cut. Like right here, I want you to run, Right here, I want you to run. Go get me the first. You can definitely see what he's thinking, though, right? He's thinking, I'm a spin move away from getting behind this guy and turning this into a big run. So, that's just being really nitpicky. It's not bad at all, but he might get a first down if he continues to the sideline. And, when you have a quarterback who can run and you're using him in the run game, you can then draw up and dial up some stuff like this. Tuck it, looks like, sweep, throw it up top on a play action for a touchdown. Down here as you get closer to the red zone. And it was a really nice throw. Good design, though, too. And, again, you can see how fast Tennessee's going. They've just spotted the ball. Referee's not even really behind the formation, and we're already snapping it, so everybody's having to hurry. You've got a match call all the way to the far side and some zone stuff with zone safeties, including, this guy lined up in the middle of the field, make it look like a, one high pre-snap, and then you can read it post-snap. But what they've done, 3 receiver side of the wide side, put the tight end into the boundary, put the back also here into the boundary, and we're going to make it look like it's, quarterback sweep here on 2nd and 7 into the boundary. Get them going that way. It really, even if you were straight drop back based on the way that South Carolina is playing this and singling him up, and then you just putting these 2 guys responsible for 2 guys coming down the field, you could straight drop back and maybe get this thing open also. But you're going to push up here on the vertical and up the hash. He's just running to the end zone to score, and you're going to bring him underneath and across, and that's who draws the safety up right here. This center fielder knows what's happening too. As he sees a route, he's not even looking to see him pointing. He's already pointing, okay, they're switching it up. I'm taking this underneath, and you better get on top right now. He's pointing to it. He knows what's happening. And that is, hey, this guy's gone. I've got to come underneath and get this crosser. That's my responsibility. So you, teammate, you better cover this guy. He's pointing, but that ain't enough. And you're certainly not going to let him know verbally over 100,000 people in there yelling and screaming. And so quarterback's job here is to pull up and don't miss a layup. Wide open, good feet. Don't overthrow. If anything, underthrow when he's that wide open. And it's a layup. All right, he's going to go with a one-on-one choice route into the boundary, ball on the right side or on the right hash. And so he's going to go to that short side of the field where they're faking the other way. Flip, good footwork, drive it in there, complete. 2nd and 18, so you've got 6 in there in the box, and I'll show you the formation. There's some off screen you can't see. So there's obviously a receiver and a DB lined up here off screen you can't see. It's probably man-to-man because that's man-to-man also. And safety's here, and you got another coming down spy in the backfield. And, this formation, 2 backs, no tight end, and they're going to fake to that left side, requires him to have to flip and look the other way. I think pre-snap probably tells him he's got that boundary choice route. See him put his eyes right there on linebacker. It's either here or here. Maybe he's outside. Maybe he's first outside. But I think it's play fake all the way. Nobody's run blocking. It's not RPO. Really, to me, the dead giveaway that it is, straight play action pass call the whole way is the up back or, the 8 or whoever's in a sort of a fullback kind of role right here. Because if you watch him, he's going to step in there, and then there's no effort to try to go downfield. Like he does not know if this is a true RPO. He doesn't know if it's run or pass, but he's got to stay right in there where he is. He's pass blocking the whole way. Same thing for the tailback. So this is, I think, straight up play action call right here for Hooker. And what I like is I think pre-snap, you got some access over there if you get an in break. Flips his head, knows he's got it. Now, when I say choice, I think what they're doing in this offense is in some of these one-on-ones, the receiver's got a lot of options. It can be, and I don't know what they call it or what the rules are, but, it can be here vertical. It can be, in, or it can be skinny, just depending on what they call. So you're not going to see just a whole ton of timing throws from Hooker. Like if this was a straight-up call of a slant, right? Like he knew it. That's what I'm going to run. Quarterback's able to anticipate this and go ahead and, release the football before the break happens. But because the receiver has a choice, you got to see what he's going to do first. So see, he's already in his break, coming out of it. Now I see him going inside, kind of anticipated that. And now I can let it go, but I can't let it go until I make sure I know where he's going, right? When he's got 2-3 different options of what he can run. So it's a little bit harder to anticipate it. But I like his footwork a lot. I mean, I say I like it a lot. It's just really good. You watch the play fake to his left. Eyes where they're supposed to be. Now watch him flip those feet around right now. Flip. Now back in a posture. He's not drifting. He's not happy feet. He's not Dorothy clicking his heels together. He's got a wide base and then drive off that back foot. That's prototypical. And drive it in there for a completion on 2nd and 18. Got him bunched up, got a shallow cross, that deeper in cut, sort of that levels. It looks like a little bit of a levels, even though they've got them lined up in bunch out there on the numbers. And in the third is coming across as well, but it looks like quarterback expected him to hitch, didn't get it, and Hooker throws it where he thinks he's going to be, and he's not there. So they're not on the same page, and you get a pick. It's almost a pick six. Now hustle it down and don't let him score. Good job there. This is a tough one right here for Hooker in a couple of different ways. And one is that when you're running a lot of routes where the receiver can choose, if he's got an option, I don't know what they call it, but if he's got an option to either hitch and hook up right there past the sticks, you see what they need for the first down. He may have that option to hit, to hitch it up. Maybe that's built in. He may have an option if it is man and he gets man to run away from it. We don't know, but they run a lot of the option and choice routes in here. And what's happening is Hooker is throwing this on kind of a timing and anticipation thing. You see him here in the pocket. It's good footwork. 1, 2. He's not clicking his heels together and drive it off that shoulder right there. So, it's good footwork, and he's, getting a skip release from the outside, which, again, that's what you're doing because you want to let this clear. You want to let this clear and climb. And then so you're kind of skipping delay release, and then he's reading it. It looks like to me, quarterback does obviously expect him to come out here and stop past the first down stick. And that's why he's throwing now Receiver's not making any kind of breaks. This is anticipation on the quarterback's part. And you'll see receiver, he's on a different page. He's making an in-cut. Ball's behind him, and that's why it looks so bad. It's doubly tough because Alabama doesn't cover the top of this route. They don't cover it. They get the underneath crosser run with him. But if it's man and you're supposed to run here, you don't. If it's zone and you're supposed to be on top, one or the other, you don't, because the inside defender is looking with his butt turned to the middle of the field, So they've turned him loose here, and there's your throw. Easy for me looking at it on film. That's a tough one because you watch it on film, you think, not only had a first down, but I had field goal range. We're not on the same page, and we make a big mistake in the fourth quarter. You see it out there. He's skipping. You can see what he sees right now. He's thinking, I need a first down here. He's already passed the stick, and if he hitches this up, I'm going to throw it to him. So he must have that option. Quarterback thinks he does, throws it to him, and the receiver just keeps going. Here he is, gun with bunch formation to his right, bottom middle of the field. He's going to reverse out here, and eventually we're going to get to the back, running this flat route off this little play action and roll look. It's not a waggle or boot or anything. He's just going to reverse out and then roll it that way. And eventually you get it to him late. Nice job. It turns into a big play. Several things here to look at that are fun to look at in this Tennessee offense. So you see the bunch formation with the tight end. Tight end actually staying in and helping. So it's 6-man protection. And the route is we're meshing over the ball right here with the single receiver coming back from the backside, meshing here. We're running this off and taking the top off and driving a safety out of there, and then flat route off of that. And then as he rolls, he's obviously got the option to run. So there's your route. So one thing I noticed about this is if you look, single receiver here that's lined up, he trips. I don't think he gets knocked down, but he trips, and so that messes their mesh up. Right there you see him. He's stumbling, hands down on the ground, trying to stay up. He goes on top, and my thing is, like, if it's designed that way, I wonder why. Because if you're rolling, if you're going to reverse out and we're going to roll this quarterback this way, and I'm going to have this, 3rd and 1 option to the flat here, and I'm just trying to run this off, okay, then obviously the mesh coming across here from the X should be an option too, right? Like, so if somebody jumps down on here, we want to hit this mesh crosser for a first down right here. So if you're doing that, it would make sense that this is who is setting the mesh, and he would come underneath to make the mesh. Does that make sense? And the reason being, again, if we're going to roll this way with the quarterback, then he's my next level coming across. So I want him underneath so that his defender running with him is the one who gets picked off. Does that make sense? So if he goes on top, he picks, I got a better chance for him to come underneath off the pick and be open because I'm rolling this way. The way it happens, and it could just be because he's stumbling right here, the way it happens is he's underneath, he's on top. That's not going to do him any good in terms of getting that guy open over here if it's truly a mesh. Now, again, in their defense, this could have gotten all fouled up simply because he's falling down and they freak out a little bit, but that's what I would think. The other thing here is good job by Hooker. I think right now he's thinking, I'm going to run for this first down, so I think this is a late adjustment when the corner comes off of him. It's a really good job, a heads-up play on his part. Like right here, I'm thinking that he's thinking I may dive and get this. I got 3 bearing down on me, and as soon as he feels him come off late, he knows he's not past the line. Now dump it to him. It's a really smart play. And the other thing is this is targeting. Okay, so I don't always agree with the rule of targeting and how it's applied, but I know what the rule is. And if they are applying what the rule is, whether you agree with the rule or not, if they, if right here, if this official and right here, this official, if they are applying what the rule is, then this is targeting. Okay, so he's passing posture, passing motion. His eyes are off. He's defenseless at that point, and you got a defender who's going to unload and drive and elevate into the head and shoulders of a quarterback who is throwing a football. That's exactly what he does. He launches right here into head and face mask, and this is a targeting. Whether it gets called or not, it satisfies the rule. You've seen a lot less egregious ones than that actually get called. So if they didn't call it, they probably missed it. Got one of those run by him deep ball touchdowns down here into the boundary, one-on-one with the corner, and the corner's not looking. Again, we're talking about hurry up. Alabama's trying to get lined up. They're not really lined up at the time Tennessee snaps the ball. Run right by a corner who wasn't looking. And the reason it's a touchdown is because of the accuracy of the throw. If you underthrow this and make the receiver have to pull up and stop right here, like if this ball's underthrown, he has to hesitate and stop, you're going to catch up. And he probably still catches it, but you get tackled in field goal range here. But because on a dead run, it's like walking out there and handing it to him. You just have a rhythm throw that puts it on him where he doesn't have to break stride. We take that for granted. Everybody watching the game takes that for granted. Those who've tried to throw those do not take those for granted. It's like don't miss a layup when you're wide open like that. And so it's a really nice throw on his part. But that's this hurry-up offense. If you look offensively, they're all lined up and ready to go, about to snap the ball. And you look defensively, they've hurried him up. He's got his hands out up here, not real sure what the call is. He's got a hand out trying to communicate. He's looking into the sideline, at the near sideline. His coach is trying to figure out, what do you want from me? And everybody else is standing up. So because of the tempo of the offense is what does it. If you want to just watch one guy, though, watch right here, because it's his responsibility. Back turn to the receiver, looking at the sideline when the ball is snapped. Snaps, sees that it's snapped, turn, look, it's too late. He's got a head start, runs right by you. And so, again, these guys that are good, that win and put up these numbers and have a chance to go on and play pro ball, they have a knack for finding mistakes. They just have a knack for it. I don't know what you call it. I don't know how you equate it to anything and how you evaluate it. They just have a knack for it. I got one guy out here he just has a knack for knowing that's my run by because he wasn't looking. Good footwork here too. He's not hopping in the pocket. He's not jumping ahead, shuffling. His feet are far, shoulder width apart. He's not clicking his heels together. Good posture. Drive off that back foot and let her rip. Put it down there on him. Make him pay for a mistake. Got to get lined up.